स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती नामिने। श्री वार्षभानवी देवी दयिताय कृपाब्धे कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्योचल प्रेमाढ्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिद गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तध्वान्तहारिणे। नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बर सांबोधे पदाम्बुजाय ते नमः। नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते गौराविर्भावभूमेष्ट निर्दिष्ट सज्जन प्रिया वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। जयतां सुरतोपंगो मम मंदमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्भोजौ श्रीराधा मदन्मोहनौ दिव्याद्वृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमद श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद् राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवौ प्रेष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानौ स्मरामि। श्रीमान् रासरसारंगी वंशीवटतटस्थित कर्षन् वेणुस्वै गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रीयस्तुना तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So welcome everyone. Yesterday we discussed about Radha Kund and Shyam Kund. So some places around Radha Kund which I mentioned, which I would like to mention today one more time. So when you begin Radha Kund Shyam Kund Parikrama, the first one is Kundeshwar Mahadev. Kundeshwar Mahadev is the Rakshak, the protector of the Kund. That's why it's called Kundeshwar Mahadev. Normally, all the Krishna Leela places, important Krishna Leela places, there is a Shiva temple who is the protector, Rakshak. Like there is Dhama Rakshak, there is Rasa Mandal Rakshak. Like, so Radha Kund, Shyam Kund Rakshak or protector is Kundeshwar Mahadev. So the first thing in Radha Kund, Shyam Kund Parikrama is Kundeshwar Mahadev, who is the protector. So you have to take first darshan of Kundeshwar Mahadev. After Kundeshwar Mahadev, there is an ancient old Radha Krishna temple. So that is because it is Radha Krishna Leela place. So first you take darshan of the protector, Rakshak Kundeshwar Mahadev, then an old Radha Krishna temple, an ancient one. Then the next one is not exactly the Parikrama, but Radha Kunja Bihari Gaudiya Math, which was established by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And a little besides there is Paniharan Kund. Then is the ISKCON Manipur Gopal Temple. Just next to that is Srinivas Acharya Kunj. Then the next one is Radha Gopinath, Janva Mataji's Radha Gopinath Temple. Just besides the temple on the banks of Radha Kund is Janva Mataji's Baithak, sitting place. And Janva Mataji's Snan Ghat, that is the bathing ghat. Just besides that is Raghunath Das Goswami's Samadhi. Then there is Gopal Bhatta Goswami Bhajan Kuti. Then there is Teen Goswami Samadhi. Teen Goswami Samadhi is Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. Teen Goswami Samadhi is there. The speciality about this is all the three of them, they were very close friends residing on the banks of Radha Kund. And they disappeared on the same day. All the three disappeared on the same day, but 3 different years. So that's why you see in Vaishnava calendar, disappearance of Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, and Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami is on the same day, but they disappeared in different years. They were so close friends. When first one of them left on a particular day, that day, and on the disappearance day of that, the rest of the two were lamenting and in lot of pain and grief. The second one left, and a couple of years back, later on, the third one left on the same day. So all the three left on the same day, different years. So there is this Teen Goswami Samadhi. Just besides that is Radha Govinda Dev Temple and Jiva Mandir, Govardhan's tongue temple, Jiva Mandir, Govardhan's tongue temple. Besides that is Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami's Bhajan Kuti, where I told he completed the Chaitanya Charitamrita and presented it to the assembly of Vaishnavas. Then there is Gadadhar Chaitanya Mandir. Besides that is Bhajan Kuti of Raghunath Das Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So both Bhajan Kutis are besides each other. Just besides Raghunath, this Bhajan Kutis is the Manasa Pavana Ghat. This is where Radharani takes bath in Sham Kund every day. Then there is the Panch Pandav trees. Then there is Swananda Sukhada Kunja, Bhakti Vinod Thakur's house, and naturally Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's house or Bhajan Kuti also. Followed by Lalita Kund and Radha Damodar. And Radha Damodar also has Jiva Goswami's Bhajan Kuti. Then is Radha Vinod. The next one is Radha Vinod. Followed by Madhvendra Puri's Baithak. Then is Radha Madhav. Then is Gopi Kuan. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Baithak. Next is Madan Mohan and Sanatan Goswami's Bhajan Kuti. And then is the Radha Gopinath temple, the Gopinath which was shifting from Vrindavan to Jaipur. This is also Nityanand Prabhu's Baithak sitting place. And then there is Lokanath Goswami's Bhajan Kuti cave. Lokanath Goswami was using this cave as his Bhajan Kuti. Now it is not there, it is disappeared. So like this, there are many places around Radha Kund and Sham Kund. And I would like to tell you about Janva Mataji. She is Nityanand Prabhu's wife. And in the last old age years, she came down to Braj from Mayapur. And she was residing on the banks of Radha Kund with her deity Radha Gopinath. She was worshipping Gopinath. So there is there is this Gopinath temple, Janma Mataji's Gopinath temple, and there is Janma Mataji's sitting place, and Janma Mataji's Snan Ghat, the bathing place in Radhakund. So she was a devotee of Gopinath. So there are two Gopinath temples in Radhakund, on the opposite banks of each other. The Janma Mataji's Gopinath is here. Exactly opposite bank, there is another Gopinath, which is the Gopinath which was shifting from Vrindavan to Jaipur. That is Nityanand Prabhu's better. So Nityanand Prabhu used to stay in that Gopinath when he came to Radhakund. So and at the end of her pastimes life, Janma Mataji came down to Vrindavan Gopinath temple. And finally, she finished her pastimes by entering into the Gopinath deity, which is why there is no samadhi of Janma Mataji. Janma Mataji, there is no Janma Mataji samadhi, because she entered into Gopinath deity in this Vrindavan temple, Gopinath, and finished her pastimes. The same Gopinath which is now in Jaipur. At that time, Gopinath, being very pleased with her, he gave her a benediction that in this temple means the Vrindavan Gopinath temple. In Vrindavan Gopinath temple, you will have a special position. You will have the position of Radharani. And Radharani will be standing on other side, a little away from me. So in this Gopinath temple in Vrindavan, the Gopinath temple in Kamyavan, the Gopinath temple in Radhakund, which is Nityanand Prabhu's Baithak, and the Gopinath temple in Jaipur. In these four temples, because the next three temples have originated because of this Gopinath when he was shifting to Jaipur. So in these four Gopinath temples, which are related to Vrindavan Gopinath. So the Vrindavan Gopinath, Radhakund Gopinath, Kamyavan Gopinath, and Jaipur Gopinath. In these four temples, the main deity pair is Anang Manjari and Gopinath. Anang Manjari is Radharani's younger sister, and she appears as Janma Mataji in Chaitanya Leela. So that's why Anang Manjari Gopinath pair is there. Normally, when you stand in front of the altar, Radharani is on the right side, your right side. When you are viewing, looking at the altar, Krishna is on the left side. So it is Krishna and Radharani. But in these four Gopinath temples, it is Anang Manjari and Gopinath. The pair is Anang Manjari and Gopinath, and Radharani is on the left side. When you are on your left, when you are watching, actually she is on the right side of Krishna. Normally Radharani is on the left side of Krishna in the pair. In the pair, Radharani is on the left side of Krishna. But in this four Gopinath temples, she is on the right side, a little away, and Anang Manjari is on the left side of Krishna, very close to Krishna. So as I said, the pair is Anang Manjari Gopinath, Anang Manjari is Janma Mataji, and Radharani is little away. This is speciality of this Gopinath temple. Next time you go to see this Gopinath temple in Vrindavan or Radhakund or Kamyavan or Jaipur, you have to understand that the pair is Anang Manjari Gopinath, not Radha Gopinath. So this is Janma Mataji's worshipable Lord Gopinath. And because Gopinath also loved her so much, he gave her a special position in this special in the special Vrindavan temple, naturally followed by all the other three temples. So also, as I said, there is Raghunath Das Goswami's Bhajan Kuti on the banks of Shamkund, where Radharani used to take bath, known as Manas Pavan Ghat. Exactly opposite of that bank, other side of the bank across Shamkund, is Sanatan Goswami's Bhajan Kuti. This is place from where Sanatan Goswami saw Raghunath Das Goswami. Actually, Raghunath Das Goswami didn't have a Bhajan Kuti, nothing. He used to just sit on the banks of Radhakund in the forest. In those days, Radhakund bank was all forests and everything. Now there are all these banks and with stones and He used to just sit on the banks. Raghunath Das Goswami used to sit on the banks of Radhakund to chant his japa and bhajan kirtan. And it would be strong sun, heat, and there would be tigers. So you might have seen this, a very famous poster where Raghunath Das Goswami is sitting chanting, and Radharani is standing beside him with her sari. She's holding her sari above his head like an umbrella to give him shadow. And then there is Krishna standing there with a stick to protect Raghunath Das Goswami from tiger, who is also there. So this Sanatan Goswami, one day from across the Radhakund, from another side of the, across the bank, his bhajan put is there. So he saw this. He saw that Raghunath Das Goswami is sitting like this, and Radharani is holding sari on his head for shadow. And Krishna is with stick standing there nearby to protect him from the tiger. And he called Raghunath Das Goswami and chastised him. He said, "What do you think? You are doing great tapasya, but you don't know. You know, you are not aware of what you are doing. You are just sitting there meditating, chanting Krishna's name, this, that. And you are not aware that Radharani is holding a sari on your head for shadow, and she is standing in the sun. And Krishna is there with his stick to protect you from the tigers. So finally, this tapasya is not going to yield you anything because Radha and Krishna are serving you. The other way around, you have to serve Radha and Krishna. So what do you think? You are doing some great thing? Stop all this nonsense. Better build a small bhajan kuti where you sit inside the kuti and do all these things. Don't force Radha and Krishna to serve you." So that is when Raghunath Das Goswami, he made a small bhajan kuti for himself. So sometimes we may think that we are serving Radha and Krishna, or we are doing something nice for Radha and Krishna, or we are doing something nice in our devotional life. But the situation exactly may not be the same. It may be something totally different. Like Raghunath Das Goswami, he was thinking, I am meditating on the banks of Radhakund. I have seen many devotees, they have like infatuations, Radhakund, this, that. So it's not that what you are doing is something great or good. The picture can be something else without our knowledge. So this is how Raghunath Das Goswami was corrected by Sanatan Goswami. So in this we can see that although sometimes we may think we are doing something good, the exact picture may be something else. So finally Raghunath Das Goswami had to build a small bhajan kuti, and then he used to sit inside the bhajan kuti. So in this way he used to be protected from the tigers and the sun that would be naturally shed inside the kuti. So this is what great devotees, Goswamis like Raghunath Das Goswami also sometimes have a misunderstanding, which was corrected by another Goswami, Sanatan Goswami. So this is performing something, and we are thinking it is proper. The picture may be something else, and the thing may be improper completely. So we have to take guidance most of the time. So also after that there is this Jiva Mandir. When Raghunath Das Goswami was excavating all Radhakund, Shamkund to make it nice, decoration, all that, collected donations in that time. And he went where at a place near Gopi Kua where he was digging, immediately blood started coming out from the ground. And then they stopped, and then Govardhan came in his dream, and Govardhan said to him that actually, you see, you have hit my tongue. So you take there is a Shila, which is my tongue. Now it has been injured. You take it out and establish a temple for that, Jiva Mandir. So that Raghunath Das Goswami established, which is beside Radha Govind Dev, and between Radha Govind Dev and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's Bhajan Kuti. He established this Jiva temple, Govardhan Jiva temple. So there is as I said, Jiva temple, then there is Swananda Sukhada Kunj, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house, Lalita Kund. Basically, I'll tell you the structure of Radhakund and Shamkund. If you read Radhakund Mahimamrit, the architectural aspect of Radhakund and Shamkund. So Radhakund, let's say this is Radhakund, this is Shamkund. Both of them are connected with a trench which Krishna made, connected Shamkund, Radhakund with his flute. So there are two kunds connected in between with a trench, Radha Kund and Shyam Kund. Now Krishna takes bath every day in Radha Kund, and Radharani takes bath every day in Shyam Kund. So all around Shyam Kund, a semicircle around Shyam Kund, there are 8 kundas of Ashtasakhis. And in this semicircle around Radha Kund, there is 8 other kundas of the Ashta Sakhas, the Ashta Gopas. Stoka Krishna, Arjun Sakha, Subal Sakha, then Gandharva Sakha, like this. The Ashta Sakhas. So now this is Shyam Kund, Radha Kund, 8 kunds around here, 8 kunds around here. So total 16 kunds around this two, Radha Kund, Shyam Kund. Now Radha Kund, Shyam Kund is connected by a trench. Now this Shyam Kund has 8 kundas around here. And each kund is connected to Shyam Kund with a trench like this. This Shyam Kund and the Gopa Kund is connected. Shyam Kund and this Gopi Kund, Lalita Kund is connected. Shyam Kund and Vishakha Kund is connected. Shyam Kund and Indulekha Kund is connected. Shyam Kund and Champaklata Kund is connected. Shyam Kund like this. The Shyam Kund and 8 Gopis Kunds are connected with a canal trench. Similarly, Radha Kund and the 8 Gopas Kunds are connected with the canal trench. So if you got this picture, 2 kunds connected to each other, then 8 kunds around here connected to that, here 8 kunds connected to that, and it is mentioned that all these canals, canal trenches which are connected, so this 8 connections here, 8 connections here, and a connection between Radha Kund and Shyam Kund. So total 8 to 16 and 17 connection canals or trenches. So they have a pathway on both sides of the trench or a canal. And these pathways are decorated with jewels and gems and rubies and emeralds. And there are arches made of this rubies and gems and jewels and stones. And these pathways are completely, both sides, they are full with different types of flowers and fruits and creepers and different aromas, different colors and different shapes and different sizes and juicy fruits, sweet fruits. So all this, it is completely like a, what do you say, I don't know, means forest villa or something like that, with these pools. Nowadays we call it pools. So this is architectural design of that. It is all, you can just imagine how it would be, 2 kunds connected, then 8 kunds like this, and canal trenches, both sides of the canal is pathways of rubies, gems, jewels, and then there are arches and there are railings, and like everything is shining and glittering with diamond, rubies, gold, emeralds, and there are beautiful, completely covered greenery by bushes and creepers of trees and small trees and big trees of different flowers and juicy sweet fruits. And then because of that, there are so many peacocks and birds and parrots, cuckoos and all that. So it is completely a colorful, multicolorful, very beautiful appearance. So now it is completely, totally different. But still, when Krishna's pastime, Krishna is having his pastimes eternally every day, even now. So in Krishna's pastime, what I am describing, that kind of Radha Kund, Shyam Kund is still there. When Krishna comes, that is in the spiritual vision. If someone has spiritual vision, he can see Radha Kund, Shyam Kund, with the Ashtasakhi Kund and Ashtasakhas Kund surrounding that in that way. And Radha and Krishna, they come to this Kund. So, and they have their bath and all these things. So, this is the design and architectural structure of Radha Kund, Shyam Kund. You can imagine, so beautiful. It would be so beautiful to see if you make it today like that. Of course, I know it is difficult to make it fully with gems and jewels and rubies and this that, but still you can see the architectural design of this is so wonderful and amazing. So then after this, but out of this, as I said, there are 8 kunds here and 8 kunds here, so total 16 kunds, and Radha Kund and Shyam Kund, so total 18 kunds. Radha Kund, Shyam Kund, 8 Ashtasakhi Kund, 8 Ashtasakha Kund. So other than Radha Kund and Shyam Kund, there are 16 other kunds out of which 15 have been destroyed and disappeared. Only one Lalita Kund is still there. And even if you just cross Radha Damodar temple, then on your left side is Lalita Kund. And you can see there is a canal trench connecting Lalita Kund with Sham Kund. So similarly, it was for all other 15 kunds which have completely disappeared and destroyed now, as of current situation today. So then there is all this Radha Damodar, Radha Vinod and Radha Madhav, all they were shifting to Jaipur, and they made a halt here in some devotee's house. Mahaprabhu Baithak is there. Madan Mohan Sanatan Goswami Bhajan Kuti, the other side. So this is how Radha Kund, Sham Kund. I have tried to tell you some things about Radha Kund, Sham Kund. And now we will move on to some another places, maybe like there is a place called Belwan. Belwan is one of the 12 main forests. There are 12 main forests in Braj. And Belwan is one of them. So Belwan was forest of all bale trees. If any one of you knows bale fruit, this is in India. Currently, this is season. Everyone is drinking bale juice. In summer, you drink this bale juice. It is a hard fruit with nice pulp inside, saffron color pulp inside. And you can make bale juice from them. It is very good for summer. It has a nice cooling effect. So, Belwan was forest of all bale trees. And Belwan is also one of the Raslila places. I told you Raslila takes place in 6 different places in 6 different Rutus. So Raslila place. So one time when Raslila was going on in Belwan, Lakshmi Devi, she had a desire to experience Raslila. So she decided to come and experience Raslila. So she came down and started walking into the Raslila in the Belwan area. But she was stopped by Purnamasi and Vrunda Devi, who are coordinating, managing, and all their managers for all these Braj activities. So, they said, you are not qualified to enter the Raslila. So Lakshmi Devi was basically a lot of disappointed. And she just asked the reason. And they said, you don't have that level of purification. Your level of purification is not up to the mark. You need some more improvements before you can enter the Raslila. So so she was disappointed. She started performing austerity in Belwan, tapasya, with the hope that she can attain some more purification and she can attain the level of purification that is required to enter Raslila. So now Lakshmi Devi is one of the most important demigoddesses handling the department of wealth. She is also wife of Narayan, who is Krishna only. And she is a chaste wife, Pativrata Stri. In spite of these big qualifications, she was not allowed to enter Raslila with a reason that she is not qualified. She doesn't have the level of purification that is needed for entering the Raslila. So someone may have a doubt or questions. What is the problem with Lakshmi Devi basically? If she is one of the important demigod level and she is always serving Narayan, Pada Sevanam. She is Acharya for Pada Sevanam, one of the aspects of Navadha Bhakti. One should learn how to do Pada Sevanam from her. Acharya means one who teaches other by his own example. And then she is always serving Narayan. She is Pativrata Stri. Why she was not allowed? So basically, Lakshmi Devi is handling the department of wealth, which is one of the 6 opulences Krishna has. And it is natural. Anyone who has a lot of any one of the 6 opulences like wealth, beauty, knowledge, strength, wealth, beauty, knowledge, strength, renunciation, and one more. So anyone who has any of these opulences in a big quantity or a large quantity, they naturally have awareness about that, and they are naturally, there is some pride about that. Oh, I am so beautiful, I am so knowledgeable. And fame, the sixth one is fame. I am so famous, I am so strong. So they are aware of their opulences. Everyone is aware of his opulences. And 99% there is chance that they have ego and pride for that. The ego is developed on that opulence, and there is some bit of pride also for that opulence, created out of that opulence. So, so Lakshmi Devi naturally is handling wealth, and that makes her little bit, although it is she's serving Narayan all the time, but still, Department of Wealth. So there is some basic personal choices, tinges. Like I like to try to explain you. When pure devotee is, there are three modes of nature: Tama, Raja, and Sattva. So Prabhupada says everyone has to come to Sattva Gun basically. Then you can further progress into devotional life. So all this following four agri principles and everything is for a person to come up to the level of Sattva Gun slowly. And then chanting and this, that, like that. So, but you can see if you read Prabhupada books, then you will see Prabhupada also uses a word at many places called Vishuddha Sattva. So there is Rajas, Tama and Sattva, but Prabhupada is using word at Vishuddha Sattva. So that is something special, completely pure. Vishuddha means completely pure Sattva. So Sattva Gun, there can be some little, there is Sattva Gun, but there can be some little technical problems. And Vishuddha Sattva is completely pure without these technical problems. So a person in Sattva Gun, what are the technical problems? Like you are following four agri principles, you are chanting, you are serving Krishna most of the time or all the time, you have completely dedicated your life to serve Krishna. Like many demigods or many people, many even ISKCON also, many people have dedicated their lives to serve Krishna. But then still there are some personal agenda, small personal agenda or personal choices. Like, oh, I don't like making garlands. I like to have Pujari Seva. I would like to do Pujari Seva. If you tell a person who's doing Pujari Seva that from tomorrow you have to do book distribution, he may not do it. No, I don't want to do book distribution. I want to do Pujari Seva. Or maybe you can send me to the kitchen. So we are selective. We just don't do whatever comes our way, whatever Krishna wants us to do. We want to do for Krishna what we want to do for Krishna. We don't want to do for Krishna what Krishna wants to do for us. So that is one technical problem. Then there is another technical problem of choices in like this, when there is distribution of Mahaprasad, and we look into the bucket, give me this piece of cake, give me this rasgulla or kachori. So give me this bhendi sabji. So we are selective in that. So we are selecting for our own enjoyment, not that whatever comes, okay. Oh no, Karela sabji, no, today I am not going to have prasad because there is Karela sabji. Practically, I have seen devotees coming for prasadam. I'm not going to name the place, name the temple or name anything. But I have seen devotees who come at the prasadam time into the prasadam hall with some expectation that, oh, there will be something nice prasadam. And then they see there is khichdi and papad. And then I have seen them grumbling, They come, oh, Hare Krishna, Mataji, what are you cooked for breakfast? Oh, paratha. Okay, I'm coming to your house for breakfast. In the temple, there is khichdi, So I just make 2, 3, 4 more parathas. I'll come in an hour. I'll come to your place, have a breakfast there, parathas. This is what temple devotees are doing, and this is completely wrong. This is the technical problem in Sattva Guna. They may be in Sattva Guna. So they may be in Sattva Guna. They are following four agri principles. They have a fantastic track record about that. And they are doing service all the time, staying in the temple. They may be doing nicely. They may be very hardworking. They may be everything. But this is one small technical point which may destroy all this greatness. So there are like these technical points. So there was one, I'll tell you one story about when Prabhupada, he used to have prasad. After Prabhupada would finish, then they would bring the plate out for devotees to have Maha Prasad at one temple, in one temple. So all the devotees would wait when Prabhupada would finish and Prabhupada's Maha Prasad plate will come out. Then everyone would like monkeys in Vrindavan, these devotees would just pounce upon this plate and try to get what they want. Someone would grab the rasgulla, someone would grab the kachori, someone would grab whatever, someone would grab chapati, whatever they would see what is best out of that selection, would select what is best they would like and they would try to grab it, everyone. So maybe I will, if it is finished, if I go 5 minutes late, everything will be finished and I will not get any Mahaprasadam. But one devotee, he used to come after 10 minutes. He didn't go in all this monkey crowd. So he used to come after 10 minutes and mostly everything would be finished, but there would be this pinch of salt from the Mahaprasadam's plate. And then he would just pick up this pinch of salt and he would eat that and he would go. So this is the technical, I hope you understood the point. This is where is the problem with Sattva Guna, the technical problem. So Lakshmi Devi, although she is in very high Sattva Guna, everything, she is in a good position. She is a chaste wife to Narayan. So there are two reasons why Krishna didn't allow her. Because she is chaste wife to Narayan and Krishna didn't want her to meet some another Purusha or male other than Narayan. Otherwise, that would have damaged her reputation. One reason is that. And second reason is this technical problem of Sattva Guna, which she was not completely pure. She had some personal, a tinge of personal agendas and choices still, because she was favorable to Narayan, being a chaste wife. So sometimes being favorable to Narayan, she had to neglect Krishna. So it is a difference. It's technically so that because of these technical issues, she was not allowed to enter into the Ras Leela. So she started performing tapasya in Belwan with the hope that someday she will attain the purification stage that is required to enter the Ras Leela. So Krishna, when he understood that Lakshmi Devi had come to experience the Ras Leela, but she was not allowed entrance, so he didn't want to disappoint her because she is a great personality. So Krishna left the Ras Leela and appeared in front of her in Bal Gopal, baby Krishna form. And Lakshmi Devi was very happy to receive him. She was very happy that at least Krishna came to meet me, although I was not allowed into the Ras Leela. Why Krishna came in the form of a baby Bal Gopal? Because he didn't come in the inside the Ras Leela. The Rupa is Shama Sundar, Sham Sundar. That is specifically only for Brajvasis, specifically in Ras Leela. So, because she was not allowed into the Ras Leela, she could not have darshan of Sham Sundar. So Krishna came in the form of Bal Gopal. So because Krishna came, she was very happy and she made some khichdi, because for small children you give them like liquid. ISKCON khichdi is very liquid, 80% water. You can just drink 4 or 5 plates of khichdi without disturbing your stomach. And this ISKCON khichdi or the Gaudiya Vaishnava khichdi is very famous all over the world because no one can make it exactly like this in their homes. So she made khichdi for this Bal Gopal and a sweet from Sisem and Jaggery, which is called Tilgul in Marathi or Gajak in Hindi, which is at the time of Sankranti, we distribute that. Why she did this? Because this happened in the month of Paush. Paush is like December. So this Leela took place in the month of Paush on a Thursday. So even now, the Belwan temple is out in the Braj in some remote corner, hardly someone visiting. So every year in the month of Paush, that is around December, on 4 or 5 Thursdays, whatever Thursdays are there, there is a big festival there, and about 500,000 people visit this temple in this 4 or 5 Thursdays in the month of Paush, and everyone is served khichdi prasadam and this gajak sweet. So This is the specialty about Belwan. And then there is Man Sarovar nearby. Man Sarovar, Man means respect, Apman means insult. So where Radharani's respect or reputation or what was maintained, Man Sarovar. So this also comes in Bhandirvan area. So there was Raslila going on there one time. And Krishna and all the gopis had assembled, but Radharani had not come. She was getting delayed. So everyone was just waiting for Radharani to come, to arrive, and simultaneously getting bored and tired, that how long you have to wait. Radharani is not yet coming. So finally, Krishna, seeing all the situation of the gopis, he decided, okay, let us start the Raslila. How long we can wait? Everyone is getting tired and bored. So they started the Raslila. After some time, when Radharani came from distance outside the Raslila, she saw that Raslila has already started. So she was very sad and angry simultaneously. There was two emotional feelings. She was sad and she was angry. And she started crying sitting there that already Raslila has started without me. So she could not digest that. She became sad and angry. So after some time, Krishna, he realized that Radharani is not yet come. What happened? She is not yet come. No, she's sitting outside crying. So Krishna came to her to ask her what happened. She was not in any mood to even look at Krishna. So she turned her face away. Then Krishna came sideways and she turned her face this side. Finally, Krishna tried to touch her. She pushed Krishna and Krishna fell on the ground. And at the time, because he fell in front of her on the ground, his hand touched Radharani's lotus feet. So immediately he begged, touching her feet, he begged forgiveness from her. She said, what happened actually? Why? She said, how can you start Raslila without me? So if you started Raslila without me, that means you don't need me anymore. You don't need me anymore. So why you are coming here to attend to me? You can go back there. So many girls are there and you are already dancing. You can continue your dance. Anyway, I am not required. I am not needed anymore. So Krishna said, no, it's not like that. Like basically you were late and getting a lot of delayed and everyone was just standing and getting bored and tired. And so that's why she said, no, anyhow. But anyhow, you can go and continue. You don't need me anyhow. So finally, then Krishna said, okay, beg forgiveness. And then Radharani, after some time, she cooled down and she said, okay, I will forgive you on one condition. And the condition is that you should not repeat this mistake again. It's never in future you should start a Raslila without me. So Krishna promised, and in this way everything was okay. So there is Man Sarovar, because Radharani cried so much there that her tears formed a big Sarovar or a lake. So that is called Man Sarovar. That is a lake of Radharani's tears, which she shed with a dual emotion of being sad and angry at the same time. So there is an ancient, there is a small broken down temple where there is an ancient painting, very old painting where Krishna is touching Radharani's feet and begging forgiveness. There is a little more bigger temple which is called Radharani Man Mandir, because Radharani's respect was restored there. Reputation was restored there of being Queen of Rasarani. So also after this, one time when the Raslila was going on in this Man Sarovar area, Shiva, he had a desire to enter or experience Raslila. So he left from Mount Kailash, he came down and he found that Raslila is going on near Man Sarovar. He started walking inside the Raslila and he had come down from Kailash, Mount Kailash. So he was just wearing some tiger skin around his waist. And he had this damru, dum 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 dum. Then he had trishul with all snakes and cobras along his body, in the neck, in the arms, and in the waist, and scorpions and matted hair. It was very, very like not a good appearance. Not a pleasant appearance. So he was stopped by Vrinda Devi and Purnamasi said, where are you going? Raslila, I want to experience the Raslila. So he says, that is fine. You are qualified to enter, but you cannot go like this. Did you have a look at yourself in the mirror before you came? What is the problem? He said, you look, you're not no proper clothes and all ash smeared all over the body, and this is all cobra snakes and scorpions and matted hair and Trishul and this Damru making all dangerous sound. You cannot go there. Raslila, there is so nice, pleasant music. What is Dama 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 Dama? This is not right. So, and you have to go in a gopi form nicely. So he said, what can I do? This is Mansarovar. This is Mansarovar. This is tears of Radharani. You take a dip here, you will come out in gopi form, then you can go in. So Shiva, he took a dip in this Mansarovar, came out in gopi form, went inside Raslila, and he was so ecstatic because he was waiting for this moment to experience Raslila for so long, and now that moment has come true. He was so ecstatic, he started dancing wildly. So jumping and shouting and crashing on the ground and moving his hands and legs wildly and shouting. Now, basically, Shiva's dance is normal. Shiva's normal dance is wild. It is called Tandav. Now, someone whose normal dance is wild, he starts dancing wildly. You can imagine what happens. So you understood this. Shiva's normal dance is wild. And then he dances wildly. So it was disturbing the Raslila because Raslila is very graceful dance. Nice, pleasant music with proper steps and proper graceful dance like this. Like what you see Bharatnatyam and Kathakali and Kuchipudi and all these things. This and that way, whatever, making different gestures, pleasant music, proper stepping, should appear graceful. And here is someone who is dancing extremely wildly. So Krishna, he couldn't understand who is this gopi today. So he looked at this gopi, and when Krishna glanced, he understood, oh, this is Shiva. So he stopped, he called him, he said, please come here. Your desire to experience the Raslila has been fulfilled. So now my request is, but it is disturbing us, this is not the way out here. It is disturbing us. So anyhow, your desire is fulfilled. Your desire is fulfilled. You please now go out because we have to continue with our normal Raslila. So Shiva, he was very happy. He said, okay, thank you, my Lord. Actually, you are knower of everything. And even before I came in, you knew that I am coming. But somehow you allowed me to be inside for some time and experience the Raslila. My desire has been fulfilled. But okay, if you want, I'll go out. I'm not going to participate anymore because it is my participating in Raslila is a problem for you. But I need one benediction. So Krishna said, okay, what do you want? Anyhow, you are sending me out. So please give me permission that I can stand on the border and have darshan of Raslila. If you are not allowing me to participate, at least allow me to have darshan of Raslila. Let me see the Raslila. So Krishna said, okay, I give you permission for that. You can stand on the border permanently, stand on the border of Raslila permanently, and you can have permanent darshan, eternal darshan of Raslila henceforth. But only condition is you should not participate anymore. And one more duty, because you are anyhow standing on the border of Raslila, simultaneously you can perform a duty there. I also appoint you as the Rasamandal Rakshak. So you will be protector of the Rasamandal. You should also check that no one should enter into the Raslila who is not qualified. Although Purnamasi and Vrinda Devi, they are managing, but still you also are there, like a security. No one who is unqualified or anyone who is unqualified should not enter inside. That is your duty. And you can stand there and from the border you can see the Raslila eternally. So this is how Shiva, he became Gopishwar Mahadev. And Krishna, he named him Gopishwar. Your name in the form of Gopi will be Gopishwar. So that's why he became Gopishwar Mahadev. So there is also a small Gopishwar Mahadev temple in Mansarovar because this Leela took place there. So this is about Mansarovar and Velvan. I told you. We discussed some architectural design of Radhakund, Shamkund and some places around Radhakund, Shamkund. So whenever, I know many of you might not have come to Vrindavan even once. and many of you might have come to Vrindavan a few times, but many of you might not have seen these places even though you came to Vrindavan. So you can keep it in the back of your mind that next time when you visit, you can select which places you have not visited and visit those new places. Because normally what happens is someone visits Vrindavan, they just go around the most famous places, which are like favorite places. Like people visit Barsana, Nandagaon, Govardhan, Mathura, and Gokul, and some local temples in Vrindavan. And they think that my Vrindavan darshan is finished or over. But there are so many places in Braj which many devotees may not be aware of. Because they are not aware of, they don't make a plan to see that. That's why I'm trying to, through these Braj Leelas, I'm trying to make people aware that there are many beautiful, wonderful Leela places of Krishna still existing in Braj, and one can visit them when they come to Vrindavan. So thank you very much. We'll stop here, and if anyone has any questions, we can discuss the questions. If anyone has any questions, you can unmute your mic and ask the question. Anyone has any questions? Haribol. So we'll stop here. हाँ बोला.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु, थैंक यू प्रभु. प्रभु जैसा आपने बताया कि सिर्फ ललिता कुंड बाकी सब कुंड नष्ट हो गए हैं. So is there any like government is doing to what you called find out and taking care of other kunds? ऐसा कोई government का program?
Basically, in India, I tell people there are two problems in regarding Braj. The main problem all over India is government is careless. And specifically in Braj or in Uttar Pradesh, the government is careless all over India. So that applies here also. And in Braj, the local people are reckless. So there is a competition between local people and the government going on who can destroy these places in a better way. Whether the local people will destroy it in a better way or the government will neglect and it will be destroyed in a better way. So finally, the end result of both these moves is destruction of this place. And that's what is happening. So Lalita Kund was also on the verge of destruction. It was on the verge of completely disappearing. People throwing garbage there, and finally half the Lalita Kund is already habituated. People have built their houses over it. But Babaji, a local Babaji from Radhakund, took an initiative and he invited all, and when ISKCON devotees went there for so many days, actually it was blackish, grayish, greasy, filthy mud and swamp. People removed it by buckets and loads of buckets, and then it cleaned and filled it with water. That's why that Lalita Kund is at least existing today. And this happened just a few years back, like maybe 5 years back. That's why this Lalita, if you put on Google, you will see Lalita Kund cleaning. Just put on Google Lalita Kund cleaning and restoration. So that was like maybe 5 years back, hardly. So this is how Lalita Kund is still there. So all these places, as I said, government is careless. Government is not at all bothered about any religious places. They don't want to establish the religious culture. Anyhow, we have governments in the last 5 years, but they are already busy in cleaning up all the mess. Such a mess in India in the last 70 years. So they don't have time to basically focus on such things. But still, after Yogi Adityanath has come Chief Minister, he has done some innovation work at some places. But anyone who is attending, the problem with the government is anyone who is handling government departments of related fields, they are not experts of that field. Like if the government decides to handle some religious places, they don't appoint a person who is expert in that to do that. They'll appoint some nonsense doctor for that. Yeah, so there was some misconnection. So they appoint some improper person to for all these projects. And so whenever the government tries to do something in some place, I lose the heartbeat. I say, oh my God, now there's going to be some destruction. So even if the local people try to do something or the government tries to do something, most of the time the end result is not proper. It could have been done. So anyhow, so what can we do? India, the government basically just spends some money to show that they are doing something. It is not done properly with consulting the experts and all these things. Just apart something and this is that's all. So anyhow, that is a sorry state. That is a tragical state of India. What to do?
Okay, Prabhu. Whatever Krishna's design. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for wonderful class. We will meet again next. Thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna.